guys, welcome to VLOGOWEEN day 26. Today I'm going to be reading another, I almost said BuzzFeed quiz, no. I'm going to be reading another story from scaryforkids.com. This one is called Dead Woman. I'm filming today's video a little bit earlier. It's 11:48 p.m. right now, and I've said this before, I usually go to bed at like 12:30, so I have a little bit more time on my hands to actually read more of a longer story, because usually I try to stick between, if it's really late in the night, like 12 o'clock or something like that, or 20 after 12, I'll usually just read like a 3-minute story, because on scaryforkids.com, it'll say how long each story is. So this one is 7 minutes. So yeah. So I was like, it's 11:48. I'm going to read another story because I actually have more time on my hands. Because like I said, I don't go to bed till like 12:30. So I have like a little under an hour. So I have more time to do like a longer video. And if I'm reading a story, read more of a longer story. So I'm just going to jump right into it. As for my collective haul that I mentioned yesterday, I did get 2 more things that my parents brought home from the store today for me. So I'll be showing that. I have that added to the bag, so I'll be showing that in my collective haul video. I'm waiting on one more order to come, which, like I said in yesterday's video, the update, the location still hasn't changed. But in yesterday's video, it was 4 minutes away as of yesterday morning. It still hasn't changed, so I don't know. It might be here tomorrow. It might not be here till Wednesday. I don't know. But once that package comes in the mail, then, literally that day, I will post my collective haul video. Because, maybe. I'll see when that package does come in the mail. I'll see where my other one is, because I have 2 packages coming from Candy Funhouse. So, once I get the first one come, that is supposed to be here by Wednesday, I'll check the location of my second parcel, and if that's close to here, and it should be here before the 29th, then I'll wait for that. But as of now, my collective haul will be posted either tomorrow, Tuesday, or maybe Wednesday, whenever I get the first parcel. We'll see. But anyway, I'm just going to jump right into it. So, the Dead Woman, that, like I said, that's what it's called, The Dead Woman. The Dead Woman is a scary ghost story about a man who lives next door to a haunted house. It is supposedly a true story that happened to a man in Russia. And just the picture alone is actually kind of terrifying. Look at this. Are you kidding me? That's actually really creepy. Anyway, a few years ago, I rented a house in the countryside. My neighbors were a married couple named Lisa and Michael. They had 2 young children, a boy and a girl. They were a nice, quiet family and pretty much kept to themselves. One night, I was awakened by a blood-curdling scream. It sounded like it was coming from the house next door. I jumped out of bed, threw on my dressing gown, and ran downstairs. Also, by the way, guys, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Anytime I read a story like this on here, it's a first time for both of us. Unless you guys have read the story before. I don't know. But yeah, anytime I read a story on here, it's my first time reading it. So, anyway, let's continue. Where was I? Okay. When I got to my front gate, 2 small figures came flying at me and almost knocked me off my feet. I realized it was the kids who lived next door, but I was stunned by their appearance. The boy was in his pajamas and the girl was in her nightie. Their faces were deathly pale, and they looked up at me with terror in their eyes. Both kids held on to me and began to cry. Their mother came rushing towards us, and I could see she was terrified as well. "What happened?" I asked. "I heard screams." "There's someone in our house." Just that comment, that statement alone, very creepy already. Lisa gasped, her voice shaking with fear. I heard someone in the kitchen. I was too afraid to go check. Then I heard someone climbing the stairs, and I heard the door to my children's bedroom opening. Then I heard my daughter screaming. It was terrible. I immediately got the kids, and we ran out. "Did you see who it was?" I asked. "No," she replied. "The children ran out of the bedroom." I didn't dare to check it. Please help us. We need to call the police. I looked at the children, still trembling with fear. Where is their father? I asked. He's working the night shift, Lisa said. I told them to go into my house and call the police. She thanked me, took her children by the hand, and ran to my house. I decided to check out their house. The front door was standing open. It was dark and silent. All of a sudden, I felt a cold chill run down my spine. It's always the cold chills. I had the strangest feeling that someone was watching me. I already don't like this. It's not like I don't like the story. It's just I don't like it as in it's really, really creepy already. And if it's creepy now, I don't even want to know what happens at the end of it. Okay. Anyway, moving on. In the back of my mind, a little voice kept telling me, it's a trap. I don't know what came over me, but at that moment, I was very scared. Scared of the unknown, scared of what might be lurking inside the darkened house. Pull yourself together, I muttered. You're not a child anymore. I started to walk up the garden path, but then I saw something that made me stop in my tracks. Click. In one of the upstairs windows, the light suddenly came on. The house was supposed to be empty. I looked up at the lighted window, but I didn't see anything, just curtains blowing in the breeze. It's even creepier reading this at nighttime when it's almost midnight. Oh my god. Why did it... Anyway, moving on. There's something up there, the little voice in my head whispered, and it's not afraid of being found. In fact, it wants you to find it. I tried to tell myself I was just being silly. How stupid was it for a man to be afraid to go into a house because he is afraid of ghosts? If it's a thief, I thought to myself, then why would they switch on the lights? Click, the light turned off. What the heck? I thought and took a few steps back. I still did not see anything in the darkness, but I felt goosebumps rising on my skin. Click, the light turned on again. When I looked up at the window, my heart skipped a beat. There was a dark figure standing there. It was a woman. Her skin was taut and shriveled, and her hair was long and unkempt. She looked like a corpse. She just stared down at me with her hollow, empty eye sockets, and she smiled a dead smile. Click, the light went out. I turned and ran back to my own house. When I got to my front door, I banged on it until the neighbor lady let me in. She looked at me with a mixture of fear and anxiety. My face was pale and my eyes were so frightened that the children began to cry again. Water, I panted. I need water. Lisa grabbed a glass, filled it with water, and handed it to me. I downed it in one gulp. My heart was pounding, and I had broken into a cold sweat. I was afraid that I was having a heart attack. Did you call the police? I asked, trying to pull myself together. They're on their way, she said. Did you check the house? Let's just wait for the police, I replied. A few minutes later, the police finally arrived. They searched the house from top to bottom, but they didn't find any thief. There was no one there at all. The police questioned the neighbors, but nobody had seen or heard anything. When they questioned me, I didn't tell them what I had seen. What could I tell them? That I had seen a dead woman in the window smiling an unearthly smile? Nobody would believe me. The police eventually finished up their business and left to take care of more important things. Around 7 o'clock in the morning, the woman's husband came home. The children were glad to see him, and together the family returned to their house. I tried not to look at their house, especially at the upstairs window. After that crazy night, I began to have trouble sleeping. I would too, actually. If I saw that. As soon as I closed my eyes, I could see the face of the dead woman. Then life seemed to get back to normal. The neighbors gradually managed to forget all about the incident. No one screamed during the night, and I didn't see any dead bodies standing in windows. Everything seemed to be back on track, and life was good. Here's the but. But one evening, about a month later, I heard someone knocking at my front door. The knock was loud and strong. They kept banging and banging as if they were going to break my door down. I looked through the peephole and saw that it was the neighbor lady, Lisa. I opened the door and found her standing there grinning at me. What happened? I asked. She didn't reply. She just smiled and walked straight past me. She went into my house and turned left into the living room. She left me standing on the doorstep, dumbfounded. That fixed smile on her face unnerved me. It was so creepy, almost inhuman. It made me shiver from head to toe. It was dark outside and no birds were singing. I was about to follow her inside when I heard voices coming from the house next door. When I glanced over the fence, I saw the neighbor children playing in the front yard. Then I froze. I could not believe what I was seeing. Lisa was there. the lady in your house is not Lisa. She was standing there in her front yard playing with the children. I couldn't move. It felt like my entire body was paralyzed with fear. The little voice in my head was asking only one question. If Lisa is over there, then who is in my living room? I didn't stop to check. I immediately ran to the house next door and asked my neighbors to call the police. 2 officers arrived and searched my house from top to bottom, but they didn't find a living soul. How could they? The only person in my house was a dead woman. The next morning I left the house and I didn't come back. I wouldn't either. Now I live in a city where there are more live people and less dead. I heard that my former neighbors, Michael and Lisa, moved out soon after I left. I asked around and one of my friends said that the reason they moved was because the mother and father of the family had gone insane. They're such fools, my friend laughed. They thought that their house was haunted. Yeah. Anyway. I tried to laugh along with him, but I couldn't even muster a smile. Okay, anyway, that's it. That's actually really, really creepy. Oh, there's another comment on this story, because they have like a bunch of different comments. From Shadowlord 007. I like that. It sounds like a short film called Lights Out on YouTube. And I think they actually made a movie off of it. You guys should go and watch that. It's really creepy. I might actually watch it. Or do I want to after that? If it's like that, I don't know, because that was actually really, really kind of terrifying. But anyway, that is it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you would like to see more content from me. And I will see you guys tomorrow for VLOGOWEEN Day 27. Bye, guys.